Now, no matter what your opinion is on Graham Potter, I think there's one thing that has to be universally agreed upon, and that is the fact that he is incredibly unlucky. Luck has not been on his side since he signed for us. I mean, look at this game, for example. We picked up 3 injuries to 3 key attacking players at this point in time. Mason Mount is injured before the game even starts, and then you lose your entire attack within 20 minutes from both Pulisic and Raheem Sterling. You know, when things are against you like this, it becomes incredibly hard to find ways to, coach victories. But for me, I think one thing that really stood out in today's defeat to Man City is that maybe the overall quality of the squad is not as bad as we originally feared. Because today, I saw a lot of players putting on shows today, trying to show Graham Potter, listen, we're here now for this time. There's injuries to first team players. Yeah, we know that you want to go back into the market to sign players, but don't forget the quality you have in your hands. I think Zakaria absolutely typified that today. And now I'm looking at this guy completely different. I feel every game he's been playing now recently, he's getting more confident. I would say that this was by far Zakaria's best game. Of course, 1 or 2 mistakes. You're playing against Man City. You're expecting to lose some duels or, lose some dribbles out of midfield. It is going to happen. But when you look at his overall energy throughout this game, playing box to box, showing that press resistance, showing the confidence to receive in tight spaces with Man City players surrounding him, looking to receive in the half turn and play it forward. And some of those slide tackles as well too to stop Man City counterattacks. I think he was everywhere today. He didn't stop running. And I'm looking at this guy with completely different eyes, as I said, because I think he is one of those guys now that we can rely upon. And he gave himself a great account in this game today. But one thing I was also impressed with too was the young players that put on shows today. Hutchinson, Lewis Hall, of course, and Chukwuemeka came on. And they all had, starring roles, each personal to them. Chukwuemeka replacing Christian Pulisic quite early on. He hits the post in the first half. And I thought in general, that's like his tactical understanding in terms of how he was defending off the ball. He was coming back in our own half to win tackles at times as well too. And in terms of that counter-attacking threat he's bringing, I like Chukwuemeka playing in that left channel where he can receive deep and drive our opponents. That's what this guy is really good at. And you can see the link-up play near the end between him and Lewis Hall. He gave a great account of himself. And I think, remember, Todd Bowley, Graham Potter, remember what the strategy is at this football club right now. It is turning towards the youth. It is building for the future. If we are going to be in a transition year right now, blood these guys in the team, give them opportunities to be ready for the future soon. Not later on. Don't give responsibility to other clubs. Grow them in-house, because today, I think the one youth player today that just was phenomenal when he came on was Lewis Hall. But before I talk about him, I want to talk about one of the negatives from him actually. That was near the end of the game, in extra time. An amazing counter-attack opportunity. He gets released down the left-hand side. And what he should have done instantly was cut that pass back and play one of the runners inside the box. That's what you had to do. If you're going to take the shot, you had to set yourself up with a better first touch and hit it early. But this is what I mean. If he plays 10, 20, 30 games, these types of mistakes get ironed out really quickly, because when you look at his overall performance today, you saw a guy that had the strength of playing the Premier League, that was confident, that was creating spaces for himself to play in his teammates, to put crosses inside the box. He wasn't afraid to bomb forward too. He was really pushing back. I think, what's the guy's name? Is it Jamal Lewis from Man City? I don't know why I always forget his name. I don't know why I do that. But every time he's played against us, I feel like Lewis Hall is really giving this guy, a bit of a tough time down the left-hand side. And when I look at his performance compared to a Cucurella, now I understand the context of the second half was different. I'll talk about that as the review does go on. But in terms of the energy and positivity he was trying to bring down that left-hand side, pushing us forward, linking up really well with Chukwuemeka, he kind of looked better than me compared to Cucurella tonight. And I feel like, listen, take advantage of the season. Realistically, we may not get Champions League football. Let's not waste these games. Let's actually get ready for the future and start building right now by turning towards these guys. So, yeah, I think it was a great show from the squad guys today, and a great showing too from the young guys that came on. I think Hutchinson, maybe the occasion got to him a bit too much. I didn't think he didn't test Aki at all. He played very conservatively and kept things professional, which is what you want to see, of course, but there's a lot more to come from him, and realistically, this is his first Premier League debut, so I can understand. But regardless though, it is never nice to lose any games at home, especially against Man City. I guess we should discuss the goal that we conceded, and what is it with these Spaniards at our club here, other than Azpi? We've not had a great time signing Spanish players that you can rely upon in the big moments. Maybe I'm sounding way too harsh, but today I thought Cucurella struggled at times. Yes, of course. Actually, no. He was getting protection. You know, he had Koulibaly coming up at times. He had Chukwuemeka and Kovacic around him as well too. He had his 1v1 battle today, especially in that second half. He kept losing them. He kept losing them and losing them and losing them. And for me, great team defending is all about prevention. You want to prevent the danger from happening, like Minority Report style in that sense, before it actually comes your way. And I feel like Cucurella today was allowing Man City to, have a lot of joy down the flanks at times. I guess it's no surprise that the mistake for the goal initially comes from his side before being played across goal. Before, of course, I don't know what Kepa was doing, but it felt like he kind of took his hand out of the way. So that was a bit disappointing and a very sloppy goal to concede, considering the amount of heart that we put in today's performance. That was the thing that was kind of annoying, but regardless, we have options, players in the team. Give these opportunities now, and let's see what these guys can do during a time of need when players are injured, when players are out. Before I wrap things up, let's talk about the game a little bit more, because honestly, this was a game of two halves. In the first half, it was all us. We were taking advantage of Man City tactically, and in the second half, I would say it was all Man City. I know the final 20 minutes, we were looking dangerous. Of course, Gallagher brings some energy in the second half. He has to try and make a name for himself right now. Currently, it seems like he's last in the pecking order when it comes to midfield players. And you'd imagine that after the season he had at Crystal Palace, he's not looking to slip up and he wants to put himself back in the first team. But other than those types of moments, tactically, Man City wanted to sit back to get us in the counter-attack. You know what I mean? Second half, Pep makes the right substitutions where he replaces players. He brings on, Lamar Lewis. He brings on, he moves Cancelo to the opposite side as well too. He's playing Silva as a winger to run at Cucurella instead of playing in midfield. And instantly they were more aggressive. Instantly they were able to manage against us, against the counter-attack at times. And they were able to find De Bruyne in the game more, who was able to find pockets of spaces deeper to help influence and create chances for Haaland. So, we couldn't do much against that, especially considering the options we had to turn to as well too. It was a valiant attempt, but Pep had to change things up, because in the first half, it was all us really. And I think it was because of how we defended off the ball. Obviously, the way we transitioned, I think we were kind of like a 4-2-4 at times. And defending off the ball, we became a 4-3-3. And what Man City were trying to do is they're trying to find connections to Haaland. So try and visualize it in your heads. Obviously, Haaland's occupied by both Koulibaly and Silva, who I thought did an amazing job, because our game plan was about nullifying him. If you nullify Haaland, you nullify their attacking threat, because they have no one to play to. Lots of aimless passing, and the wingers can't get close enough to really put any danger inside your box. So it was working for us. We had a compact midfield three who were working in tandem together, who were giving protection to their outside fullbacks to help double up against Man City in the counter-attack. We had some very diligent defending up top. I thought Kai Havertz today put in a very good performance. I like him when he's playing in these positions where he's involved in the game, where he's dropping deeper, where he's linking up with his teammates around him, where he's able to play one touch, make runs in behind. We've been using him in a way that doesn't suit him, receiving dead balls and having to explode away and dribble past opponents. We didn't sign Kai Havertz to do things like that. Let him just roam around that, the central areas in the midfield, and he will find the positions and help you play through oppositions. So he put in a lot of work in helping us attack, on helping us create counter-attacks too, and of course tracking back as well. I thought Ziyech as well, of course, this was the thing. Ziyech was used on the right-hand side of a midfield three when we were defending off the ball. So is that type of due diligence from the team today that nullified anything Man City could do. Pep was trying to push Rodri further forward to have him receiving in behind the midfield lines of us, because the plan was to then have one of our midfield players attracted to Rodri to free up spaces in those channels on the left and on the right so they can play through us and of course double up. But You know, they couldn't do that. Our energy was too good. Our defending was too compact. And we were winning a lot of our duels in those areas and setting up counterattacks. So, you know, it was everything that I'd expect to see in any type of game versus Man City or a big team. And it's nice to see that it's a lot of the squad guys and players that haven't been relied upon as much throughout the season who are showing that they can still sup up when they need to. Of course, ideally, we want to get a win in a game like this. Realistically, too many things were against us. We still gave in a solid performance versus Man City. This wasn't embarrassing. We went toe-to-toe for large portions of the game. But I would say that the two moments that define this game, Man City taking advantage of our inexperience, and then us not being able to get back in the game due to our own inexperience from Lewis Hall as well too. So there you guys have it. That's my match review. I'm not feeling too downbeat. I'm not feeling too negative. I think we just build from here. And if anything, this puts even more pressure now on Todd Bowley and the transfer team because this squad needs some signings now. We are looking thread thin. We're looking weak. And I don't think it's impossible to get Champions League football right now. But at this rate, it's not going to happen. And I think right now, after seeing this game, I was thinking the amount of mistakes I was seeing from Cover, you know, especially in the second half, and the young guys were relying upon him. They were looking to link up with him and give him the balls a lot. He's not making the right pass forwards. He's not playing crosses inside the box when he should. He's playing easy passes wide instead. He's not taking shots outside the box when, the option's there. And I just kept thinking to myself, if this was Enzo Fernandez in the same position in midfield, you're seeing 10 times the attacking opportunities being created and 10 times the influence in the midfield today, yeah. I'm also looking out wide too. I think we have some real pace on that left-hand side. Could cause teams a lot of danger actually. So I'm getting too carried away, you guys. I should probably wrap things up, keep things moving. Check out today's news video to stay up to date to the latest stories happening at our beautiful club. And on that note, I'm Nini FC, this is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.